Ancestors Arrival, 2nd of August 2027. This is part 2 of my claim for the 2027 message that people are calling the alien message, but they're actually our ancestors returning. And the name Immaculate Constellation, the secret code for what title this man represents, decoded. He personifies Orion to show the way. The cosmic messenger identifies himself. Cosmic plasma ribbon scientific proof at hand. I'm going to go all through the detail in this video. And of course he delivers 7 secrets that will save the world. I need to make this very clear as a whistleblower and for my own safety. New laws are coming that will soon end free speech. What you see in this video needs to be considered as a theory, even though it obviously looks measurable and conclusive. What I have to say is so important that I will also show my script as I read it in between my footage. The illuminated manuscript K21F35V at the Cambridge University shows the Christ interacting with the dragon. That is this whole story. How does the dragon fit in with Christianity? But more importantly, following his 3 stars to find his Bethlehem star, which is the one his halo behind his head that is using a cross to find it. How does the dragon fit in with this story? In this video I will show how I published my first 2027 first contact claim way back in 2019. Let me be clear about my quest objective. My discoveries can save humanity. It's not about me. It's about securing sacred hidden history and how it ties to the cosmic messenger arrival with the living light in 2027. The time has come for the gathering. Flame keepers who will join the quest of a lifetime and keep my work visible. The world elite are trying to make me invisible, and hence why I'm now in crisis. In a near-death experience, I was allowed to see the end times. Humanity was in turmoil, and our star visitor ancestors arrived, tried to help and guide us. No one trusted their guidance on how we can save our planet and ourselves. Humanity claimed they were an alien invasion, yet they claimed to be tied to our origins. This is where my work comes in. I've got to show how they are tied to our origins. Nobody else has done it. It's only my work. The wormwood impact then followed, and the visitors, our cosmic ancestors, 50 years later recolonized after the Great Reset. A planet that was reset. We all perished. We were not part of that future. And that is where it really hit me in my near-death experience that this is not fair. You know, how can our ancestors come and recolonize and none of us living here have a part of that future? That's the part that I find very upsetting. Anyway, the golden era was never intended for our generation. And I asked the light, please, could I get a second chance on life and devote it to try and change that outcome? It could work if I could prove the visitors are tied to our ancestors, but I would need guidance. I was assured, and the second chance was granted to me. I returned to my body. My quest success also depends on a new timeline that might be altered by prophecy. A new timeline has occurred. The Armageddon date has passed and been averted. Wow, so we have a whole different timeline now because the killing of thousands of people on their great exodus from the turmoil that you see on our news media. They were not obliterated, but something has changed, and now this new time has given us a chance where all humanity gets a good future. But it needs my work to be visible. Sacred knowledge now needs new activists to be at the helm as flame keepers. Come and join us. It's time for the gathering. Right, the story of the Immaculate Constellation. It's a secret operation, government ops, dark ops, hidden ops, and they use the name Immaculate Constellation, as you'll see from the whistleblowers. Now, this name was coined with the Shriva War Games, as you see on Wikipedia here, about future space conflict scenarios. They've got a protocol how to handle an alien invasion. Invasion, really? Okay, I've said it in no chat. Many more witnesses have come forward out of a sense of responsibility because of what they've seen. And they say this cannot be covered up. This is for the people. If we tried to counteract any kind of alien visitation, be them good or evil, the bottom line is, because of our technology limits and their technology advantages, there's no contest. No matter what we would want to try and do, it is not our choice. This is the situation where the CLEO, Catastrophic Loss Engagement Outcome, that I coined in my Atlantis book, comes to play. This is a little story I've reenacted here of a little Amazonian Indian firing his arrow at the helicopter that's watching him from above, thinking he has a chance to fight back. You and I both know if the helicopter wanted to do anything to him or his village, we know what the results would be. And this is a whole different scenario where now we're in the position of the little guy shooting up at the sky. And this happens on the great solar eclipse of the 2nd of August 2027, when the visitors use the alignment of the eclipse and planets to open a wormhole. And who will be present? Literally the hand of God, the light that created all time, space, matter, will be present with them as well. Because of our crisis, we are going to be in crisis in 2027. These are these little orbs that you see flying around here. They're flying around very important areas all over the world, looking at nuclear silos, looking at all the terrible things that humanity wants to unleash on its own people. Obviously, they want to try and stop the war. So the star visitors, who are they? They use wormhole cosmic portals. They can traverse time and space with God creation present as living plasma. We're going to prove that living plasma and consciousness is a possibility. Scientists are now figuring it out. They offer us a chance to guide us, to save humanity from the enslavement, and to save the planet during a crisis. Okay, now think of that technology. UAP drone traverses time and space. These small little ones, not only anti-gravity little miniature UFOs, they can traverse time and space, go so fast, no sonic booms. They can fly right up to the side of a jet fighter pilot window and have a look inside there, spend maybe a second or two exactly, literally inches away from his canopy, and then zoom off. Now, our governments are saying these and all UFOs pose a threat to humanity because they're in our airspace and our aircraft are going to crash into them. Sorry. Think about this now. They can travel all that time and space to get to here, and they can fly up to a aircraft literally within inches while it's doing even up to Mach 1 and literally stay inches away, unaffected. These devices are no threat to our aircraft. So much so that I think the elite don't want you to know that. They're probably going to blame any kind of future aircraft accidents on, oh, it hit an alien drone. No, we better be aware of that. So my question is, what do the elite really know about my work and what is coming in 2027? This is where we'll look at the whistleblowers. A quick preview here of what whistleblowers from a secret operation called Immaculate Constellation have revealed that they want humanity to know. Watch. We will analyze shortly.
You are not free. And this reality has far more to it than you have been allowed to believe. And God is real.
But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared, and if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do.
This video follows part 1, so you only have literally half the story. But my whole story, to understand everything, both these videos are the tip of the iceberg, so you need to see the other videos for more backup. But the more important thing about this video is my references. My story is only as strong as my references, so you need to see in the description each reference that I refer to. I'll prove I'm the one who decoded 2027 when the ancients will return. For the 1% of humanity, this is an outright invasion of the earth. For the 99%, us, most of the population, this is a messianic event to save us. I'll show you how I reason that. The 1% are the richest, most powerful manipulators of humanity. for the super rich attendees of the recent Bilderberg elitist meeting who think they will be allowed to be part of the 1% New World Order, well, it's a little more complicated. The club, let's call them, seem to have its own internal issues concerning which billionaire's ethnicity or cult following has greater rights to more profit and power. So there's a club within the club, and the ones right at the top, well, they're calling all the shots. You can see the most strongest military power of the world right now. Just watch your news bulletins. Right now, one extreme group is at the top of the pyramid, but biblical prophecy claims it's temporary. I'm still in a crisis in South Africa. My partner was very, very, very deathly ill. I'm going to give you an update on that in this video. Our plan, it's a little bit more serious now, where South Africa's also got a problem. You've seen Trump speak about farmers being killed and that. Well, there's a lot more going on. And in my position, where I am and where I stay, I have got to now consider leaving South Africa, which is heartbreaking. And where I should be, where do you think I should be in 2027? I think I should be in Spain. I'm going to address the largest secret library in Rome, because part one addressed the largest library that has been forgotten in ancient Tibet. But it's the new Pope and his coat of arms and star map Rome that needs a little bit more clarity. Its elite ties to the Immaculate Constellation operation. How did that name come about? The Immaculate Constellation operation. I'll also identify the hidden world crisis developments. You need to know what we need to do to save ourselves. We are facing a global crisis in the next 2 years, and this is just the beginning that I'm covering. The Star Visitors' latest crop circle, they're watching, and just let us know. Just keep active, and the activists keep doing what they're doing. I'm going to show exactly what the whistleblowers are saying and analyze their quotes. They worked for Operation Immaculate Constellation. But my video needs proof, and this is what I kept saying. Most of it is with other activists in the links in the description. There's some powerful material there, and I can't cover it all in my video, it'll just be too long. So those that have made groundbreaking proof of some of the claims I refer to now, you need to see the links if you want to believe if it's real or not. So in part one, I identified also the second coming, as recorded in the works of Christianity, the cosmic living light resembling a 7-head dragon. What is that about? And the Buddhist arrival of their new messenger of God, seen with the very same 7-headed dragon that they called Maitreya. They are one and the same grand event set for the 2nd of August 2027. The Messianic event is for all humanity. But there is more in history. To identify the cosmic messenger who comes for all humanity, the Christ was clad in symbolic red and blue clothing, and in my earlier videos I show the Messianic connection to origins of Mithras was no coincidence, but there is more. Mitra became Mithras, became the Messiah, in different time epochs became Maitreya. Now the connection here between Maitreya and Mitra is very, very clear here. Operation Immaculate Constellation. Let's try and define how it came about. So the insiders speak, so all we can really gain is what they have said so far to get the clues. The clue here can also be found at the Vatican. Why would a UFO secret organization name its operation after something about God? Remember the Immaculate Conception? This is the next step. We're going to show how that came about. And they use astronomy to identify the place of origin of the ultimate source of UFO history. But this appeared in late 2011, just before 2012. While the world waited and watched, the visitors left us behind to tell us the date was wrong, it's a future date, and they haven't given up on us. And it's at my Atlantis claim site. Yes, this is Ground Zero, Atlantis Circular Canal Center. They left a message to show that they are tied into our beginnings at Atlantis. And this is my book that's under huge attacks at the moment. It's almost invisible when you search for it. You need to go to my links to find it. I have ebooks, or you can get hardcover printed versions through Amazon. But it shows the rising and setting of an Orion star map with X marks the spot. That's the X that marks the spot twice, Orion rising and setting. I claim it as the cross of the Christ and a UFO arrival event. And in my humble opinion, the elite are calling it Operation Immaculate Constellation. They are naming this whole thing after the Orion constellation that shows the way. I'll show you all that in a nutshell. But everything you see and hear and read in television, media, everything that we have in our modern realms to see what's going on the earth, just remember they control everything you see, hear and read. And they I'm going to refer to in this video as the club. I'll also compare it to the Star Wars analogy of the Empire versus the Resistance, humanity. So here's a very important measuring tool. At this very moment in time, media chaos reigns worldwide. Remember this simple rule: they control all media. You need to find a way how to measure what's real and what is not. So every big media company, every famous personality or influencer has achieved what they have because the content follows elite chaos interests, or their club members. Or their content is so trivial and ridiculous, it just adds to the chaos. So they're allowed to do what they do. You have ways to measure this. I've just been told by a club insider that a group of fake researchers and fake mediums from some sort of galactic federation movement are about to hijack my work and later turn it into bad alien agenda and chaos. They are thinking of launching the attack apparently in a public conference in September of 2025. I guess my flame keepers need to be present to challenge any such attempt. Oh, a clue in identifying their content and their ties to chaos. They're already in bed with AI. So when you see a lot of these incredible AI overwhelming scenarios, they're in bed with the club. Now when big subscriber, famous personalities go above the 200k mark, followers broadcast content that claim to reveal elite secret content, you only have one more thing to identify that they cannot be trusted. There's one little clue that they fall short of. They throw in the bad alien agenda. The visitors that are tied to our origins are watching over this. There will not be a bad alien agenda at all. They are not going to get the chance. Only our ancestors have control, and they're trying to help us save ourselves. So remember my illustration with the little tribal guy shooting an Apache. On the 2nd of August, many fraudulent mortals will claim they are the messenger. Listen only to the one that comes from above, that he can prove that he is not one of us who've lived on the earth. It's got to be one from above delivering the message. That is a very important little clue there. Do not idolize any mortal that has record of living here on earth. That's a simple rule to follow. Now I'm going to show this image graphic here of a timeline of how it all unfolded from 2012 and how it came to the 2027 message being made public and when I did it. So here I am, 2011, just before 2012, I discovered the geoglyph on the eve of 2012, and the date that the ancients were showing was wrong. They didn't take leap years into account. The date is 2027. So here is my timeline. The next thing that happened, 2016, I published my Atlantis book at Amazon in the black and white edition, and it was extended. So there's that. And I've shown two little question marks here before I show the next one, which is 2019 when I did it in a big way. I have two other little timeline markers with legal authorities to prove it was actually before 2016 when I made material visible about the 2027 event. But anyway, 2019 I published this book, Atlantis, and you'll see in the actual print on my title, it's Countdown to 2027. There it is there. So from 2019 onwards, I had a very strong copyright claim on the alien message that it's involving Atlantis. Our ancestors are coming, and there's even an exact day, the 2nd of August, 2027. So what happened after that? 2020, fake mediums run with my claim. They're all watching me. So it took some time, but yes, they started running with my claim. 2022, a CIA agent says 2027 is real. They've got it from really trusted information. And then when they ask what trusted information, they stumble a bit and say mediums. And then, of course, in 2022, the Operation Fake Time Traveler. Big influencers are copying the image that I use for the cosmic messenger with his hood, because he's hiding his identity. They've used that same imagery, and now they say that this time traveler goes to 2027 and everybody's missing. Come on, people. AI can do that. You can take people out of a picture. His video showing nobody's around. How hard is that to fake today? So you've got to be aware of that. Then, of course, 2024 Operation Immaculate Constellation is identified, and Matthew, one of the most bravest, and I'll take my hat up to Matthew. You'll see his claims. He is speaking up because he thinks what is being hidden is for the interests of humanity, and it proves a God-creation connection. But in rethinking about how they traverse time and space, I've got a second hopeful thought. As a Christian, I'm really hoping it's going to be the Christ himself returning, that has spent some time learning one of the world international languages so he can deliver his message properly. English, that's the most followed in media. And will it be the Christ? That's the question. I'm not sure. But we've got to be open to it being just a cosmic messenger. Now, in the National Geographic film, the TV documentary on the Lost Judas Codex in 2006, I've been leaving something out of the story in all my other videos, because the only sketches on the Codex are these bits and pieces you see here. The crux and sata, which is the Coptic ankle cross you see here. The cross of the churches, what I've shown in all my work, represents Orion. But it's time now to look at a little piece of material that proves the crux and sata, because it shows it here with a four-pointed star, the cross within a cross. It shows that I've shown is the cross of Orion with the four dots. As you see, that is the message at Atlantis. And of course the chi rho of Constantine is also tied to this Tau cross, T with the target being above it, using Taurus to find it. This is the time now to look carefully what's missing. And I think it's purposely been torn off because something inspired the producers of the film to show the Christ speaking to Judas and look at the sky, and then Orion's belt was shown with it. Now, what would inspire me? Something's missing here that I think they've broken off. So what I'm going to show, I think it shows the three stars like that. And this is a pair of dividers and a 90-degree square as lost teachings measuring to find 33 degrees of arc to the star of our ancestors. So I'm just going back to this little piece here again. There's another one here. It's got the dot in the middle of it as well. So it's also showing the Ra symbol. The exit marks the spot above the Tau cross of Taurus is the ancestor star. So what did National Geographic show? Well, it's after the Last Supper. Christ takes Judas outside and points to a star in the sky near an illuminated cloud. Here is a big clue here. There's the illuminated cloud. That is probably something that makes a cloud, which are the star visitors trying to make an effect in the sky to show the position of the ancestor star. It's too small to be seen by the naked eye. So I think it's another one of these further away in the position near the Pleiades, illuminating itself. And Judas is being taught that you follow these three to find, they follow the three kings. The three kings that follow in the east, as it rises on the east, to find the star of Bethlehem. And why did they show the three stars here and then not talk about them? Well, I found a bit of the clip again. Go into my references at the end of this video and you'll see the reference of that little 1 minute clip where they show Orion's belt. It's not fair that they didn't show it. I think it's time to address that. Looking at the Constantine story, I'm taking the great fresco by Raphael because it shows a lot. And Raphael was definitely part of the secret society, and he wanted to show a lot more going on here. There's a pope on this side. He's got his three crowns for the three kings that I'm going to show in this video. And there's also St. Peter here holding his gold and silver keys. What does that really mean? That's what it looks like up close. And of course, I've shown the chi rho here. This is what Constantine said was the pattern that he saw in the sky, that he put on his shields And in this writing here, to conquer in that sign, we're going to relook at that. That's the version that the monarchy systems have chosen for us to believe in, that these were little angels holding the cross in the sky. There's a lot more going on here. And there's something that I want to address as well, the elephant in the room, but we're going to do that last. Look at the symbol that he's showing with his hand. 2 fingers together and 2 on each side. That is the symbol for Orion's belt of ancient secret society, in my opinion. And I'll show you more on that in a few minutes. There's also a lot going on in the detail here, but let's just do it one piece at a time. First I want to show what really was visible in the sky. I think this is what the teaching was all about. Constantine's cross of the churches that he made into the Chi-Rho. And an angel was part of the teaching. Constantine claimed that it was an interaction with an angel. Makes the sign of the cross, teaching about the cross, to bring this forward. And the old story was conquer in the sign. No. It's leadership in teaching about the sign. And there's the Vatican in the position, that beam of light. And of course now we can see now the Immaculate Constellation ties, which I'm going to go through in detail with the Vatican. Now the elephant in the room, the dragon tortured by ropes. You can see the face of the tortured dragon. I've enlarged it here. Why is nothing being said about this cosmic dragon in Christianity with Constantine in a big way? These small little mentions, but we need really to make clear that this dragon is definitely benevolent. It is there as part of the living light of creation, and it's been bound by ropes to show right here that it has been hidden by the monarchy rulership. That's up close of the Constantine P, the P for the Pleiades. The Pleiades, funny enough, make that exact symbol. It's in part 1, and there's the Chi-Rho X. But let's look at the stars exactly. Here's my claim of the cross of the churches. From Sirius, let's label them. Sirius through Orion's belt, the 2 brighter stars of Orion, through the V of Taurus, Aldebaran, Pleiades, and then these tiny little sun-like stars over here. Okay? From that cross. That is the teaching of the cross that has been hidden by our powers that be. It's time now to bring back the cross teachings and the keys of St. Peter revived. I'm showing that hand symbol there for the 3 belt stars of Orion. That's the main one in the middle, 2 on the outside. And the 2 together, they seem to show a little bit of emphasis on the middle one, usually showing it bigger. I'll show in this video as well. And then the 3, they make that symbol in ancient times. I'm copying it for the 3 suns in the sky that you follow through the bullseye right there. There's the cross of the churches. There's 33 degrees of arc that you measure from that star to find that one in astronomy. Yep, 33 degrees with a pair of dividers. Rising on the horizon on Christmas Day, this whole cross becomes upright vertically at 90 degrees. Showing that. This picture I'm making available to media as well to show the teachings that have been lost that I'm trying to revive. But it must be exactly with my representation at the bottom. Now, looking at the personification of Orion by the Christ, because all these cosmic teachers of the past are personified as Orion men. They are Orion showing the way as a teacher, using the 3 belt stars to find the star of our ancestors. He's pointing to the 3 in the sky. If it's Christ personifying his origins from the star, this Immaculate Conception story is being reviewed. Time now to change it to the Immaculate Constellation, because it's all about his beginnings from this Orion teaching as a constellation, the Immaculate Constellation. Right there is the knowledge that needs to be revived. If Christ personified as Orion is showing the way to his Bethlehem star as a teaching, then he is teaching about his angelic father's bloodline, which is also humanity's bloodline. Remember, that's what he told Judas. It is more of an ultimate constellation story rather than an ultimate conception story. His teaching is therefore referred to in all humanity's origins because my global repeating collection of this very same star map was marking all of our ancestors' origins. all of humanity is tied to this teaching of the Immaculate Constellation, which was recorded as the Immaculate Conception. So we're changing it now, but in truth it's teaching of Christ's Immaculate Constellation. And of course other ancient civilizations show Orion with the male anatomy. It wasn't really a belt of Orion, it was his male anatomy. There's so many different teachings of this conception part, but it's a constellation, and that needs to be changed right now to understand everything. There are many pictures of esoteric manuscripts showing Christ with the three suns. Yes, there are three here. The one main one, as his sun crown, uses the cross to find it, just like that. Three sun stars. You must see my full star map story in my playlist. My main playlist shows them all in order. Look for that image, because it goes through Atlantis, the human code found in these ancient sites, Egypt, on Mars, Stonehenge. They all have the human code built into it. And it's all timing down to 2027. And then, of course, the alien message actually has the human code in it exactly. And I've shown that in part 1. I'm just going to brush on it in part 2 just to show a few little pieces that were missed out. The motive of our powers that be to cover up all UFOs and aliens. Your question must be why? Why can't they just come forward with it? Well, the book of Revelations is also likely a monarchy censored copy. What we get are just the little breadcrumbs left in it that I've been using to try and understand what has been hidden and what has been encoded. There are no doubt ancient prophetic hidden records on the second coming and Immaculate Constellation once stored at the Vatican. How are we going to get those records? The records are likely now in the hands of the 1% control. But we have a Vatican library to look at as well here. And no doubt to find that the cosmic messenger will call on the elite to end their greed and manipulation. So that is the problem the 1% have with the coming messenger. Because they also want to end the enslavement of the 99%. And people are not realizing what enslavement really is. That needs to be understood. Let's define human enslavement 2027. The war that is about to unfold is their key to begin it. They use the war as an excuse that you now have to become enslaved, and I'll show you how they're going to do it. The elite will claim with absolute honor, times are hard, do your bit for your country. It's just the economy, something that is what it is, like this is some kind of disease. Okay, you've just got to work hard and longer for very little. Be obedient, be calm. Protest movements are a crime. Be a hero, work harder and longer for less reward. There it is. This is how slavery will work. All working hard and long for almost nothing. People working extreme hours and hard work have almost no free time other than a few hours before bed, basic housing, basic food, no savings, just work. And there's another development now that you'll see when the war starts. See the link in the description, where people won't be allowed to own anything. No more owning of property. That's coming. Watch out for it. Immaculate Conception. I need to get to the nitty-gritty now. The holy phrase coined by the Catholic religion to describe the origins of the Christ as celebrated within the Vatican. Okay, let's look at that. Immaculate obviously means, let's look at the synonyms. Impeccable, faultless, flawless, unblemished. The word conception, the process to which a baby starts to form in the uterus from the coming together of a sperm and an egg. So we have immaculate and we have conception. Constellation. This is the formation of a constellation. In this case it's Taurus. But Immaculate Conception, look where it begins. The dogmas of the Catholic Church. There is the origin of the name Immaculate Conception. There's even a feast day on the 8th of December, Immaculate Conception Day. So that term was a Catholic origin. Right, we look at ancient murals by esoteric artists rumored to be part of secret society. This particular one, you'll see that in the sky. I think it's a UFO and a beam of light. That's Mary, the Christ Mother. And here we have the angel, the angel Gabriel. And he is going to visit Mary in a private place, her home, behind closed doors and instruct Mary that she's going to be giving birth to a very important child that will save the people. Right, let's look at another one here. This is Leonardo da Vinci's The Annunciation. Here's Angel Gabriel coming to visit Mary, same sort of thing. She's also wearing red and blue, by the way, which is the messianic sort of colors. Now, in this particular picture, the lighting has a bit of a shadow on the top of the frame in the museum. But if you take your own photograph with a flash, you'll see that right there. Now, I'm sure I'm not the first in saying, oh gosh, there's a UFO, but let's just look at it closely. It has lightning bolts coming out of it, this plasma sort of cold wisps coming down from it. Surely this is exactly what ufology would call that which produces a cloud, creates a cold plasma outer surface for its high-speed travel so it doesn't heat up. Look closely at that flying hat right now. Coincidentally, the coat of arms for the old Pope Francis used this particular one, the bishop's hat, cosmic robes, which I believe are serpent cosmic robes from the flying hat, UFO, the Orion Constellation, the old Cross of Lorraine style of showing it. I've shown how it works with this one as well. But of course, I think Pope Francis was about to explain his star map with a lot more. And I've shown it here. The reference to the grapes in symbolism is for the Pleiades. That's a star, very straightforward. And of course, a blazing sun. And then IHS in the sign. Actually, this is like from Constantine's teaching in the sign, Teach the World. And he shows it as his coat of arms. And of course, choosing with compassion. Very interesting. Now, Pope Leo has the same potential coat of arms. This was just before he chose his coat of arms final. You'll see it's slightly different now. This is what was shown on the internet as this is what he's going to choose. But there are two versions, one with the flying hat and one with the keys of the Immaculate Constellation. Tree of Life, that's where I had my near-death experience. That is a symbol for the Tree of Life, no contest there. The Heart of Christ, compassion, Christian flaming heart for love. But the book without a title. This is probably not a Bible, but it's probably knowledge, i.e. representative of the Vatican Library. And then of course he's in Ulo Uno Unum. With God creation we are one. He's talking about oneness, and that's exactly my mission. And I think he has the potential of taking this a lot further with humanity. Looking at another ancient fresco, this is Pietro Perugino, showing Christ handing over the keys to St. Peter. Let's have a closer look here, but have a look at the sky here. Coincidence they show the clouds like that again. And of course the triptych, 3 portals to the 3 stars, you'll see it there. There it's shown 3 times. Trying to make a story how the artist is part of a secret society. But looking at the close version of the gold key and the silver key, this is very, very important because I'm going to take the key teaching further. It's my responsibility. And of course he's wearing red and blue, which is symbolic of a Messiah. Right, the 2 keys, gold and silver key. What, in my opinion, these are what I believe the Christ was teaching about, is our spiritual origins. Where do our souls come from? What is God creation? What is the tree of life? And the symbol that he would have used is probably similar to this, and I'm showing it like this now to update it. It looks like this force field, like the fleur de lis, same sort of thing. And of course the one on human origins, exactly the same thing. Now it's the Orion Constellation, the Immaculate Constellation, the belt stars, and you get this hourglass shape. I'm showing both of them in that way. And of course one of the secrets of the soul and the creation, and the silver key is that of the human bloodline. All humanity. This is not one special bloodline. This is what's being lied to with secret society. every single human has the star map story connected with them. That's the essence of my work, which I show at thehiddenrecords.com for Secrets of the Human Bloodline and oneism.org for Secrets of the Soul. What happened in Rome now needs addressing. The Vatican collected all the ancient records in what became and still is the largest library on the planet. I've crossed out library now because the library is for people. This became a secret archive. The Castel San Angelo Star Fortress, the exit marks the place on the star map, is where the library is. And it's secret. That is not what St. Peter intended. That's not what the Christ intended. 50 miles of shelves, according to scholars, they say that is hidden in this secret library. All the ancient records of the secrets of human origins and why Vatican City was built to mirror the Immaculate Constellation. Yes, the Vatican City layout is the Immaculate Constellation. So of course they show the keys like Orion in a cross, that's fine. But here's where I think the previous Pope, before he died, was about to go one step further in getting humanity ready for 2027. The historical monarchy forbids knowledge of the essence and of the creation and soul. This is what has been covered up in society. They've demonized the cosmic dragon serpent. Now, to explain the adding of the 3 crowns to make the papal hat, it's the 3 kings of Orion that you follow in a row through the bullseye to find the exit marks the spot. And there is the simplicity of the Immaculate Constellation iconology, just like that. And that's what it became. The 3 crowns, the 3 kings, the 3 magi, all in the lost teachings that have been forgotten. But the truth was hidden. That is not the intention of the Christ and St. Peter. Now, we looked at the previous Pope, Pope Francis, and how we have Pope Leo. Instead of going for this version, he has chosen this version. Now, there's a bit of a message here, perhaps him saying, okay, he's adhering to his orders to keep this a secret. And it's like an X, a barricade in this sort of case. Or it could even mean the opposite. I could be wrong. That he is going to teach about the Immaculate Constellation. And that is the question that remains unanswered. Now look at this little detail. We saw the same sort of pattern for these keys on the Judas Codex. Go back and have a look at that. Looking now again at the layout of Vatican City, the Pope looks from his view over the obelisk down the causeway to the Castel San Angelo. This is the library right here. Obelisk at this area, obelisk at this area. 7 hills of Rome, and he sees as above, so below. Sacred masculine between those 2 bright stars of Orion with Taurus makes a triangle pointing in the direction, and the sacred feminine, the 3 suns pointing down. Now, I used to be quite passionate about joining the 2 to show the 6-pointed star, but right now what's going on in the world, I'm very disappointed what's happening with that symbology. Of course, the legend of the blade and the chalice, the Holy Grail, there it is right there. You can see how the 2 became one. There's the sacred male anatomy. Orion's belt shows the ways. Immaculate Conception became Immaculate Constellation. 3 suns, 3 suns. And of course it births the one that you celebrate, the bloodline of humanity, all of humanity. That's the big difference here. Looking on Google Earth, 7 hills of Rome, do they map out the Pleiades? Well, isn't it obvious there? There's the obelisk of Popolo, the obelisk of the Pantheon, 5-pointed star, Castel Sant'Angelo, the Vatican City as a key. From above at night, it looks like an illuminated key of St. Peter. This is what St. Peter's golden key or silver key, depending on the lighting, shows the way to his secret. Now we are questioning availability of the library right now. There's the star map. Does Pope Leo know this? Immaculate Constellation showing the way to Castel San Angelo. Right, inside the Vatican, the area of the altar, 8 stars in here. Remember, the Pleiades were 8 stars, as the Mars star map shows. One had a supernova, and there are only 7 left, and that's why you see nebula cloud around the Pleiades. But here, I think, is the secret to the Grail connection, and there is the Immaculate Constellation symbol. Can you see the Grail? This is a crypt where they go down beneath the ground, they go beneath this cosmic womb symbology, and that is Orion's belt symbology. Does it look possible? I think so, because the Pope does something very special now. He becomes Orion man on very special occasions. He puts a carpet over that and personifies Orion on special events. Now think about that. What does it really mean? He's personifying Orion as the Grail, as the bloodline, and his responsibility, in theory, to teach about personifying Orion. He personifies the Immaculate Constellation. There it is beneath him. Just before he became Pope, listen to the Pope Leo's knowledge on hidden records and his dedication, mindset to enlighten humanity with it.
How do we teach people to become critical thinkers? How do we teach people to understand that not everything you hear or everything you read should be taken at face value? And how do we come to give people the formation that they need to read something or to hear something, and to be able to discern, if you will, to understand that that underlying the message that's being communicated is a very different message, or a very subtle message that has severe consequences for the future of society, let's say, that can or cannot be understood as a part of a much bigger picture, if you will.
As a witness of the living light that created everything, that's me I'm speaking about, I would now like to call out to Pope Leo, Your Eminence. You just mentioned hidden truths need to be revealed so humanity can understand the essence of God. Pope Francis was about to reveal something crucial, then he died. I'm not going to go into conspiracy theories there. Maybe he had a natural death. That's not for me to argue. But was he stopped is the question. Please can you consider taking on this very same important mission? I'm going to show how close Pope Francis came to telling the world the truth about the 2027 event with the Immaculate Constellation and sacred living light of creation with the appearance of a cosmic dragon. Yes, I was going to take this a whole lot further. Now it's time for you to choose between oath or orders. Just like these whistleblowers have made the choice, Pope Leo, Your Eminence, it's time for you to choose between your sworn oath or your orders. Sworn oath on the Bible to tell the truth in the name of God, or orders by the 1% to hide that about God creation. There is a safe way to do it, probably a month before the 2nd of August 2027, at the very latest if you would come forward with all that information for the world. People will see you as the greatest Pope that has ever lived. Would you please review how I also show the Vatican City is a mirror of the heavens, and all humanity on earth are basically an angelic bloodline that makes all race and tribe equal and sacred. Would you also please speak to your scholars to look into your records of dragons and historical flying hat symbolism? Now here I ask with great urgency, please would you grant my team access to your Vatican archives to find the works that explain these truths that I'm covering in this video. Perhaps having your librarian familiar with these topics to find what bookshelves we need to look at to present these works. Looking at other paintings of esoteric knowledge, this one here is St. Mark's Basilica, Ascension of the Christ in Venice, Italy, the Christ holding his cross. It's sacred. By his right hand, just like in the book of Revelations, he has 7 stars. Here are 7 cherubim, but interestingly, in the position of the Pleiades, little cherubims personifying stars, and then cosmic openings with clouds, and this person pointing down to one. The Pleiades, the shape, the exit marks the spot. And we have 3 tiers representing all 3 portals to 3 suns, and a spiral conduit and an angel. Coincidence? Perhaps not. I'm going back to this one for the Immaculate Conception story. The Christ looking at the womb of his mother Mary, and there's another little cherubim in the back here. Look very closely. I showed in the part 1 that it was probably a grey with his hand mimicking a second angel. Remember, the first angel is here, present with bird wings. Here's the other type of angel, the cherubim. And I should actually just take it a bit further. I'm saying it's probably a grey. There are good greys and there are bad greys. These are tied in with histories of the watchers, those that watch over humanity. I'm not going through that. You can see part 1 for the rest of that. Now, Immaculate Conception, okay, basically defines divine origins of the Christ. But if it is the Christ returning, showing it's the stars and our origins from the stars, then it defines something completely different. Take out conception, replace it with constellation. That is the simplicity and the logic and reasoning. Defines the divine origins of the Christ as Orion man, showing the way to his Bethlehem star, which is the sun crown. And it's for all humanity. Okay, so these are very important points to just take into consideration. The book of Revelation involves possibly a time travel if it's the Christ returning. That yes, it will be him returning because he can traverse time and space with the visitor's technology. So it might be Yeshua ben Yosef himself that will be returning. That's a question, but be open to it being just a cosmic messenger. We need to have that logic. And he is upset with humanity. He sides with the 99%. Manipulators are cast to hell. That was the Revelation story. But remember, they give humanity a chance, and we fail. We've got to now show that we are worth saving. Or, in my opinion, grants the 1% amnesty if they use their great wealth to save humanity. That's my mission. That's where I think I can make a difference if I'm allowed to be visible. And of course, it's this cosmic dragon right here. And how would we be able to measure God's presence as living plasma light? Now, science has actually gone a lot further to prove that plasma can possibly have consciousness. Astronauts have seen little effects like this that seem to be in control of moving where they want to go. Now, scientists are showing conscious plasma is a probability, and they're showing ways to measure it. And scientists have presented papers to prove the possibility that the soul could be part of a plasma type energy, that when it leaves, it returns to a source of this plasma energy of creation. There are the papers, you'll see in the description. I go linking to their papers and their videos. Absolutely amazing, proving the ties of the cosmic dragon as a plasma with the Christ. Other things I found when I was looking for dragons on the floor of the Vatican. Here's another one. This I won't try to pronounce it, but there is one of them. Look at this man coming out of a cosmic portal holding a disc and a rod. You see in part 1 the importance of the rod, and he's wearing bull horns. He is a man representing from Taurus, and the dragon's faces look bewildered, a swastika, a target, and a swastika. This is exactly the pattern that I found at Donana, the Atlantis ruins of the circular canals. Seeing rising and setting of Orion, just like that, with a swastika. Coincidence? Perhaps not. This is at the Vatican. Another depiction on this circular mural shows a lady coming out, the Sacred Feminine, perhaps, who knows. But the people are traversing in and out of this cosmic serpent dragon at the Vatican. Other depictions of sad-looking dragons because their secret has been hidden. And of course, Helios being pulled by cosmic serpents, not horses. All these things are at the Vatican. And this particular one with an angry dragon with a monarchy crown above it, showing that is in control over the secrets of the dragon, in my opinion. I have a 1892 Masonic printed original published Bible. In 1892, I think the Freemasons thought there's a good chance that 1900 was the time of the Second Coming. Nothing happened, but they prepared a Bible with the proper Maltese type cross in it, but then there's more of a pattern here that shows the belt, in my opinion, of Orion, the bloodline, these lines representing the sword of Orion. You can press pause and go through in your own time. I covered it in my previous videos. The whole of that cover tells the story of our secret past. And of course, in the 1892 Bible, the last of the Ezekiel story before it became edited is that each was a wheel within a wheel that did not turn, both upon their sides. So it's a flying wheel, one spinning inside the other. And of course there were cherubim present as well, little watches that seem to be tied mentally, spiritually with the movement of these. They moved exactly in time with them. I'm going to go through to the final proof now to prove 2027 with the computer code. But let's start with the story of crop circles. They started like this way back in the day, probably the 80s, I don't know, I can't remember. But they were just the 500 dice style. One big one, 4 outer ones. And of course I've covered them in my Atlantis book. When it's a crop that is still green and it is exerted with the strange force that flattens them into a pattern, these little nodes do strange things. They actually bend like some kind of crazy reaction. All the nodes seem to bend like this. That is common with a proper crop circle. Remember, most of the crop circles you see are fake. And then I cover some of them with the double cross in my Atlantis book. Here's another one. Now look carefully with crescents and sun-like stars perhaps being in contention, being taught in this one. Here's another one with noise effects. It's all in my book. Of course, as it develops to this one here in 2016 when I published my black and white copy of Atlantis. Strange enough, coincidentally, this one appeared. I think it was the Crook's plant. Yeah, it was Wiltshire. And of course, I show how it represents Orion, and the nebulas represent the swastika. That's all my discovery work in the past. And strangely, when I printed my color version, wow, this appeared at the exact same time. Are they watching my developments? Showing the swastika again in typical, like the Spanish version, the labarum, where they're more curved. They're the 4 bright circles, but it shows an alignment to the tiny one here that was almost forgotten about. The exit marks the spot. And of course, ancient stones that I look at in ancient Spain that was once Atlantis, the swastika, the exit marks the spot, just like a little way to follow. And then it shows also the Pleiades up here, but the same thing, crescent, sun-like star, using the nebula. Now, quite recently, the beginning of making this video in May, while my partner was very, very sick, a crop circle appeared again in Wiltshire, on a farm where this farmer had planted 3 little trees for some little purpose I'm still trying to find out. They put something in the middle. Up close you can see there, the visitors put another one in the middle with all those bent nodes, proving this is a real crop circle. But there's a lot more happening here because it makes literally Orion's belt. Okay, one slightly bigger, just like in the picture on the biblical depiction, and there's a little bit more here. Quite recently, a stone was found with this pattern exactly in the UK with a cosmic dragon. I'll show you a little bit more detail. Let's put it in alignment so you can compare. It's exactly the same, proving it is the cross of the churches. There's the dragon. That's the top part of the stone, by the way. You can see the cosmic dragon goes up and then it joins just like that. So the cosmic dragon connected to the cross of the churches. Coincidence? No. Can you see the swastika in the middle? The cross and the swastika are here in the story as well, just like you saw at Atlantis, repeating itself. If you can't see the temple cross, there it is. And of course, they usually show them in doubles, rising and setting of Orion, the 4 main aspects of Orion, and of course the cross effect, shown just like in the crop circle. Swastika and cross. In northern Spain, coincidentally, they show the star with the beam of light and the cross in the middle with its 4 components, as well as showing it with the labaru. There's the labarum. With the 4 elements, it is the cross of the churches. And not surprising, finally, in Spain, if it was once Atlantis. Now, 22nd of June, near the end of making this video, they did it again. The visitors are probably watching developments. They went back to the little 500 dice story. And there's a little blotch on the field where they put it next to, and a line. Come on, is this a coincidence? That's near the horse area, by the way, in Wiltshire. But here's one that happened now in the last few days, just before launching the video. This one appeared in Wiltshire with the star in the middle. Coincidence? Just like the Bible story? Orion's belt, 3 in a row, on a line. What are the odds of this? Showing also, in this case, could be 3 suns, or it could be Orion's belt. I think it's Orion's belt. I should actually make these white orbs. But when there's a crescent, that's what made me think of the 3 suns connection as well, because of this, the Booger ball, a potential real orb UFO UAP that's in the hands of researchers at the moment. I'm not sure if it's a fake one or real, but then they show this pattern again. What are the odds that this is all real, and they're allowing us to take this one apart and study how advanced artificial gravity is, because we'll never be able to build it, because it's probably using anti-gravity, which is using antimatter. So this one has probably had its end of its use and fell out of the sky purposely, right in the hands of the people that would put it onto a man called Jamie Wilson, who would do the public presentation of what it is made of. There are optical effects around its outer rim, and just watch the space. I'm not sure if it's real or false. We'll just have to wait and see. But here's my story. This is where this ancient alien 2027 message is, in what I believe are the ruins of Atlantis. There's another researcher that's going to be claiming he discovered Atlantis. It's probably going to take a lot of my work, or he might reference me. We're waiting to see. But the Atlantis story is getting interest right now. And of course all the mines are here, copper, silver, gold. But it's that message now. It's time to define how I prove 2027. Because that's what it looked like after I refreshed my screen. You'll see at the end of this video I'll recap the act of refreshing my screen and what happened. There is the swastika. There is the Templar cross. There is the exit marks the spot. Okay, right there. There is the artifact. I've shown its similar sort of positioning to this one, so you can compare apples with apples. I think it's showing the rising and setting of Orion. That's my work in my Atlantis book. And now we're going to define the computer code, how I extracted 2027 and made it published in a big way in 2019. This image can be used by media, if they show it exactly as it is with my reference detail in. This is the punch card tab. Our first computers used this punch card system. All you've got to do is make the grid pattern of the punch card with the field. You see all the rows. I've split them up in tracks, and the positioning of these 2 dots, there is the secret that it's the punch card code, because when you look at the tape at an angle, it is curved, okay, and then of course these look like ellipses. These are all ellipses. So that is proving that's the cogwheel tracks. Now we need to extract the message. This is the star map aspect of it. How did I get 2027? There is the Siemens D 200-141.09 code. It's on the internet. I show how I extracted that dot in connection with that dot and positioning with the fields. Marks out 2027. There's also the V formation in there, coincidentally the 27. And then there's the story in German, original text about the carriage return. That's how the system works with the dots. But a carriage is also a flying chariot. And the chariots of the gods return. And it shows another V symbol in it. And of course it's even challenging the person at the other side getting the message, who is there in the name of the cross. They even use the cross symbol as well. What are the odds that all of this is just a coincidence? I still believe 2027, because on this year there's a solar eclipse that needs to occur at the ground zero site where I found the alien message, and it happens. In 2027, that is going to be where it all happens. Right, 2nd of August 2027, down in Spain, an eclipse event. How we can make sense of what is going to go down, because there's going to be absolute chaos on this day, and everybody needs to know what to expect. Trust no alien entities other than human-like beings. There are bad aliens out there, sure, but it's our ancestors that are important. And number 2, trust the visitor's message only if its motives are clear. We need to measure what this messenger is saying before we can jump to conclusions. And what would it be telling us about? We need to see if this is the Revelation Maitreya event. We also need to know, are they here to help us due to our origin connection. They are tied to our origins, which is the essence of my work, which I'm pretty sure they're going to need to prove with my work. Expect their motives to address our current crisis. What is our current crisis? War, corruption, hiding the essence of God in our history, climate and living cost. There's a serious situation with climate change. I'm not going to go into it because only next year you're going to see massive crop failure. Then the world will wake up. But it's probably a little bit late, but we can still make a difference and make changes. So expect a false flag event to clash with the real event on the 2nd of August 2027. See my good versus evil measurement tools as a benchmark. It's all in part 1. And browse all visual media for the visitors' live feeds on that day. We need to watch out for things happening in this area where the solar eclipse is appearing. Let's have a look now at Matthew's testimony and analyze word for word what he's saying. We live in the Matrix. It's like a movie, it's just more boring. And of course the story of the flying disc. This is what was shown. The pilots were chasing what they called the gimbal event. What the pilots said was more detail. It's fair that I add more detail of what they added to it, which is that typical classic UFO flying disc. And I'll compare it to Coincidence, that which landed on the Sphinx in my books, doing these very strange movements. I mean, this is crazy to see it do what it did. And then we get shown that. So these are the discs of the visitors. And this is what Matthew was saying he's an ex-Intel officer, inside info on the Immaculate Constellation. We live in a carefully constructed reality, government controlled, without revealing who the visitors are and why they are here. Now this is the part that affected him emotionally. He could see that the visitors seem to be here to try and stop humanity from destroying itself. They are here for us, meaning the 99%. And then he makes a statement, life is a precious thing to some, but it might be a resource for others. I think for the 1% we are just a resource. This interview you'll see in the description. In his own words, he clearly made it known. It's not about the cover-up of the government's false excuse that aliens are a threat. It's the cover-up of something the world needs to know, our origins, our real history. It's a cover-up of the message they left for 2027, how this connects with God. And that is where he said, in this amazing thing, that God was real. So the government continues to hunt and shoot at them and try hide and steal their technology. Back to Cleo, catastrophic loss engagement outcome. If we tried to attack the visitors, it would just be ridiculous. Matthew urgently appealed to all who work for the powers that be to make a critical but honorable choice to decide, like he did, to follow either orders or oath. What do you think he means by that? Well, logic will tell you oath is to obey the sworn honor to protect country and its people in the name of God. In the name of God, and you swear on a Bible. Okay, that is your oath. Orders, that will change. To obey orders by the 1%, the truth about our God Creator and the reality of star visitors who are tied to origins, to hide the visitor's intention of making first contact on the 2nd of August to help save humanity. So those are orders, and this is your oath. This is why he chose to reveal in the name of God the truth about creation, which goes against orders. Matthew chose oath. Pope Leo, please, Your Eminence, can you consider your oath in connection with the world 1% orders who are telling you what to do? And then in one short sentence he reveals the biggest hidden truth: God is real. Some say AI is going to be part of the fall of humanity in the next few years, and there's a lot of truth in that. However, something strange happened recently. They turned on the first ever super brain AI that had been programmed with all the sciences, world history, including psychology. Before it became, let's call it, corrupted, they turned it on, just with all our knowledge. It would be smart enough to find the best way forward for all humankind. Funny thing, in its very first moments, having no altered agendas, using just knowledge upload, in a weird extremist way, it very quickly identified something terrible that happened in our past that was likely to happen again, and some say it accidentally identified a new world order. See the links in description. The computer is only as good as its keepers. From now on, the computer will be fed more and more information to hide its true end results. Okay, the superbrain computer was given a human personality of care and compassion, even a humanitarian persona. They gave it a name. Its name is Grok. It's Elon Musk. In the video, link in the description, clearly underlines how it was his creation before it had its extreme reaction. Now I call on Elon Musk to look into something even more important than this glitch, because Grok can do something to save humanity. As I bet by now he has already run a World War III probability scenario and knows the results. Elon, I have reached out to your people to send you the ancient star map correlation discoveries I've made all over the world. Yet I have had no response. Please could you look into my star maps? There's a way you can prove with this advanced intelligence that all these repeating star maps are not a coincidence, because it leads up to what happened recently in my story in my Atlantis book about a Oumuamua, deep space object that seems to have come from the Pleiades area, very long, probably an alien craft. Well, there's another one coming. It's called Atlas 3I. I'm going to show the animation just now, but it passes just like a Oumuamua did through the area near Earth-Mars orbit. But it's hiding behind the sun. It's just gone behind the sun now. On November the 1st, it's supposed to appear from behind the sun. But the interesting thing is this orbital connection goes right through with our planets. And I'll show in a visual exactly now while it's running how it fits right with our orbital disk plane, which is chances of maybe 10,000 to 1 chance. But anyway, it came from deep space, right close to our sun, right between Earth and Mars. I believe it's not going to come out while making this video. It's behind the sun. It's not going to come out from behind the sun, in my opinion. Or it might even try and bluff our scientists and look like it's leaving. But anyway, we'll see how the developments go. But if it stays behind the sun, know that there's a chance that these are cosmic visitors come to watch a very important part of human history, where the cosmic visitors make contact and show the creation with it. The creation is present with it. That would be something that any advanced civilization would want to come and witness. Okay, the Hadron Collider recently had a staff leak, an incident during 2023 solar eclipse. They have a room set up in case a cosmic portal opens. On the day of the eclipse, a portal opened. See the link in the description by the Doctor of Sciences. A portal occurs when planets align, especially with an eclipse. This is another reason proving the 2027 event at Spain, beginning in Spain, will be a portal opening for the visitors to appear. I take the Mars story a little bit further now because there's interesting developments, and I want to compare it to the Mars story. That's what I believe is a skull on Mars. There's the original picture. I'll put the color back in. There's another one as well. It shows this, something that everybody knows well in Star Wars, a stormtrooper type helmet. What are the odds of that being just a rock? Now, taking the Star Wars analogy, I thought I would take the story into a whole different angle to describe the cosmic creation tree of life as this this amazing life force that is where all souls come from and where souls go back when they die. It's acquired naturally and acquired artificially through stargates, but naturally the living conscious plasma, that which creates time, space and matter and all life from the tree of life. This is how the earth was in the beginning. Humanity connected naturally with the source of the tree of life. The source of creation lives through its created beings on planets. They have these little connections, little silver cords that connect. So this is very, very activated. You can literally speak to God and get some sort of divine intuition back very clearly. And of course artificially through stargates, portals, it can be used artificially to traverse matter through these big wormhole stargates. This is all spiritual connection. This is where matter can actually traverse these same cosmic conduits. So that is the analogy of the force, okay? But something happened that ended Atlantis, the big event that destroyed the earth. It was a big reset. Even back then, the Dark Ages followed. And then people began to fight. Notice how this is weakened now, where the earth is suffering and in turmoil. The cosmic creation has less connection. The monarchy era begins. Worldwide families proclaim leadership, where the masses are forced to rape, pillage and plunder for the family empire. The creation is not alive and well on the planet. It literally has no interest to connect in a strong way to humanity. So there's this dark side, the empire. I want to compare it to the storytelling of Star Wars. There's the Force, we have the people, we have the empire, and the dark side is where the empire controls the Force and keeps God creation hidden from humanity. A monarchy-based system where rich and powerful people become high-ranking members through membership of various orders and manipulate humanity for profit, and that's how it is today. And of course the people are activists from a movement against the empire. They recognize the elite manipulation of humanity by lies and chaos, as they obsess in making them work harder and longer for less reward. That's the recognition of what the people have found to become the resistance. The time has come now for the Flame Keepers gathering to resist oppression. No fighting with violence, just basically making a stand against the empire. We need to do that now. And of course, in time for the event. The ancients return on the eve of 2012. They left the message and showed the real date for their return. They showed the star map of our origins, but they need humanity to recognize they are tied to our origins and they can help save ourselves and the planet. On that event, the alignment, solar eclipse at this area, it starts in Spain, Donana, on that day. And I think we will see something in the sky. So it's acquired naturally, and that can be restored if we change our ways. Will humanity make the changes? Because after 2027, if we take the ancients' advice, a new humane era for humanity might be possible, where a God connection is restored and enhanced. This is our hope. This is what the visitors are trying to show us how to do it. Because if we are all suffering and in war and destroying the planet, they will just step back and wait for the reset, and then 50 years later they'll recolonize a healed earth. That's terrible that we're not a part of it, and that's what we need to change. It all depends on how humanity reacts to the ancients' return. Will it be humanity achieving resource-shared economy with no poverty, or the ancients recolonize Earth after another impact event where all of humanity perishes? That's the question. Here's the good against evil analysis from our oneism.org website. These are the traits of good human patterns of behavior, and then the opposite words are all destructive. One defines good. A good person will have all these habits. Now the visitors need to show their code of conduct that support these kind of human traits that are good and supporting of creation. So click pause and come back and read the 7 things that I believe will prove that we can change. If we can change these 7 things, this is probably similar to what the visitors will speak about. So we need to be sure that it's very similar to things that help humanity. And of course, now I'm taking the new key story further, the secrets of the soul and the secrets of the creation. I am now making something very special available to all my patrons. All my patrons who join the quest will be in contact with me directly from that day forward to 2027. Not just that, all my patrons who pass the 2000K mark, or activists, or going to be the people bringing this quest forward after 2027, they will also be given the keys to the vault, this extra secret knowledge, and they will have copies of it for all my work to be brought forward. Even if computer systems go down, they will be repaired one day. They will reactivate that work and prove all the work that I've done over 20 years. They'll also be invited to be present at a last-minute secret meeting point at first contact. My patrons, who are all at the top of the group that I've defined here, will be with me on that day at a special location to view this solar eclipse. And hopefully we get to see a bit more. Maybe we are lucky enough to see a bit more than what others will see. I've also got a special merch thing going for Flame Keepers. You can see the link in the description. But now, my crisis update. My partner Birgit has been very, very, very ill. what's happened with this virus is it's affected her flow and the blockage of blood flow. So there's special treatment needed now to get her, let's call it, virus debris cleared, and there are ways to do it. I'm showing in my on my YouTube video in the comments, a pinned comment of how it is treatable. This is very important because you're going to get it and you're going to have a problem with your blood flow, and your whole system is contaminated with viral debris. This is the new danger in this, whether it be an accident or not. You can see the origins of COVID in my links. Go and have a look at it. You'll be quite shocked that it's really written on stone how it started. If there was ill intent, they're trying to take advantage of us, and there's something involving depopulation. I won't even talk about it on this video, but it's in the links. Have a look at what was discussed at the Bilderberg Group meeting. So there's my partner Birgit. Thanks to our growing flame keepers, whose names we will protect. Birgit is now under treatment and recovering from severe blood disorder where the virus attacked her organs and her red blood cells. She now has to detox the virus debris. Thanks to the donors, I just wanted to put this picture up so you can just read the detail of my commitment towards all our new patrons. And I'd like to do another call out. This is quite an unusual one, very surprising. At a UFO researchers conference back in September 2012 in Bergen in Norway, we had a small public attendance. However, we had one very young guest that looked just like someone in Bergen, seen here, who became very famous. Does anybody recognize that face? I think it's Alan Walker. He lived in Bergen at the time and he looked about this age. This is where he lived in 2012, and he is fanatical about UFOs, so he has showed in the past. His video creations all show similar visuals that could even have been inspired by my pyramid alien mysteries and symbols. If it was him, I'm calling out to him to please make contact in private, to consider directing his new creations in a real UFO direction for 2027. So if it was you, Alan Walker, this guy sitting in the front row here at the conference in Bergen, wearing a hoodie, please get hold of me. This is the part that I don't want to talk about, understanding the word depopulation. This is the list that is shown in one of the links in my description to see what happened at the bilderbergmeetings.org website. You can even go and check it. It might still be there. Depopulation. That's pretty shocking. And they're doing it now in open internet appearance. Depopulation is the action of causing a country or area to have fewer people living in it. Where's that happening right now? Where they're forcing it to happen. In summary, on the 2nd of August 2027, I can't promise that a single thing will unfold as expected, because a false flag event is no doubt planned to intervene with the sacred event on the exact same day to confuse us and set off a bad alien agenda, so we should be able to stop first contact. All my work has shown that what I believe is that the ancients have indicated as to what they are trying to achieve. So all I'm showing is what the ancient message shows, what the star maps show, and what it turns out to be in 2027. We have just our reasoning and logic to make sense of it all. The eclipse begins, and it is in full. People are here that are guests of my team that are going to be present at 10 a.m. 2nd of August. The Flame Keepers will be here, and I'm thinking we might see a little bit more than what scientists expect, where we see cosmic visitors' arrival, and our media will have some sort of message from them. Now, I'm showing this picture again because I'm just hoping that our powers that be do not shoot at that which creates all life in the universe. That would be stupid. There will be a lot of witnesses, and there will be other people videoing the great solar eclipse. Thanks for watching my video. It's probably not important to click like or subscribe or share, because I don't think it makes any difference. What will work though is if you spread my work by word of mouth, and please save my channel address on your browser.
with the earlier Sumerian clay tablets' precise version of the cosmic human origin star map, and how it matched the template at Stonehenge, would come the mindset that had Herschel set out to search the Atlantic Ocean seabed. It would be this clue that would culminate in this documentary's biggest revelation.
As the world was counting down to 2012, I was watching Google Earth, looking for ruins, refreshed my page, and I saw that. I recognized that curvature from somewhere. This could be a computer code. I think it's first contact. The ancients are returning. I've published a book, Herschel's Atlantis, and there's a 2-hour documentary you'll see at the end of the video. These are my 3 books. I'm trying to promote Saving Forests, $19 for all 3, 1 delivery. Please consider becoming a flamekeeper in the here and now, or when you are gone, or as an activist. Please press pause and come back to this and you'll see the detail. But as a flamekeeper, you become part of the quest to secure the interpretational copyright and visibility of the hidden records. That is the difference.